Hi, English 3301 peeps. Hard to believe we're coming toward the end of our journey, but here we're at week 15, and it's kind of all over but the writing. So this week we're going to finish up our writing. We're going to finish up our major projects 2, which is going to which we're going to have a draft complete on Tuesday. We're going to have our reflection and our infographic done on Friday. We're going to get peer review over the weekend, and then we're going to turn everything in next week. And just as kind of a help, I'm including in the read folder for this Tuesday some examples, full example of one major project from a student who did well last semester, and then another partial example, just so the report. I realize we're still in the drafting process, and a lot of people are doing well. Some people, I would remind you that this is a report. A report is a specific kind of genre or kind of writing that we do in professional writing, and they always serve one purpose, which is to give information. They're formatted a particular way, they're written in a particular way, and some of y'all are just writing paragraphs that answer some of the sections of the assignment, and that's fine for your beginning to get going on your writing for your drafting. But remember, the final version does need to be in a memo format. So I'm going to share with you 2 examples, and just bear with me a moment because I'm working off of multiple screens here. So we're going to look at this one here. I'm just trying to size it so it's easy for you to see before we get on. I'll get on one page to look at it, and then I'm going to share my screen with you. And this is, now this student went all out. She did cover page, she did a table of contents, introduction, but this is where I want to start. So notice it is in a memo format. Memos, as we learned, to, from, date, subject. Very important. Looks probably a lot like an email to us as well. And then notice she has separate sections for each of the different kinds of writing. She has a summary. She has a background. She has a discussion of 3 different kinds of documents. Now, in her discussion, she chose to give an example, and I think it's a really good idea to do that, and then to discuss the purpose of this document, the audience who reads it, and the components of this document as well. And then notice she follows the same format for the next kind of writing, which in this case is a lease agreement, the purpose, the audience, and the components, again with an example. Third, a dismissal, purpose, audience, components, example, and then a conclusion, which is pretty detailed. It's a full page of writing, drawing conclusions from that, and then she gives a reference. So notice it's specific, it's formatted, and it discusses in great detail, it analyzes each of the different kinds of writing following a consistent format as well. So I'm going to stop sharing that. I'll also go ahead and share her reflection. And I'm sure there's going to be a more elegant way to do this than me, and the way I'm doing it as well. But notice, she reflection, my document reports provides unique examples I delved into for the purpose of major project 2. You're going to have this thing, so I won't read the whole thing. But she talks about her goals for the semester, what she learned. She brings in some of the writing and the readings and discussions that we had. And she talks about how it informed her understanding of this project. And then she talks about the semester as a whole. Very good, thoughtful reflection. And then here is her infographic, which I'll bring up as well. It's going to be a little bit awkward because the infographic appears big on my screen. I'm going to see if I can actually get this a little bit smaller so you can kind of visualize it, the whole thing. So judicial opinion. So there are 3 kinds of opinions. So this is types, the facts, the case, et cetera, et cetera. And So she talks about, regardless of what the kinds of opinions are, they each have these 5 features. And she has some nice visual representations of, in this case, the wheel scales of justice, and a picture of, I don't know, the state capital of Texas, the United States Capitol as well, but the definition of what the judicial opinion is. So all of these are quite effective. And again, they all focus on the kinds of communication a professional does in that field. Now I'm going to get rid of those, and I'm going to call up one other example. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but just here's a student in a different area that did a pretty good job as well. She was a communications major, so she talks about personal relations specialists. And again, not as thorough in her professional formatting as the other document, but pretty well done. She's got, again, each of the sections: summary, introduction, discussion, and again, talking again the writing and the role that writing does in this career, in this case, personal relations suggestion. She talks about sort of her methods or introduction, and then she takes a slightly different format, but when she talks about the different kinds of documents, she defines what it is thoroughly, and then she talks about the format and the detailed analyzing the format, and then the textual features. Same thing with a memo. What is it? Format, textual features as well. Same thing with a social media post. Format, textual features as well. Then the conclusion, not as well developed as the other references. I don't know why the table of contents is at the end. Again, it's not perfect, but again, it follows the format and does a pretty good job of answering the assignment. So again, remember, Tuesday, we are going to have complete drafts of our major project. Thursday, or Friday rather, we're going to have complete drafts of everything else. Going to give everybody peer review this week, and then next week we're going to turn it in. If you have any questions, give me a call. Write, smoke signals. Drop by my office. Imagine that. But again, I'm here if you need me. And let's finish the semester strong. One more thing: if you have not finished your resume cover letter, turn those final drafts in, along with the confirmation that you saw Career Services and that they gave you some critique. Do that. If you lost your confirmation, go ahead and turn it in anyway. You'll get most of the credit, even if you don't have that confirmation. But get that in. It's an important part of it, part of wrapping up. So thank you. And as always, let me know if I can get any help. Thanks. Bye-bye now.